Hi guys, before we start today's recap, I just wanted to tell you thank you for all of the nice comments you are leaving. I really appreciate it. For those of you who are sending lines, I probably won't get a chance to check most of them until after the tournament is over just because it's so busy. But please know that I am reading all of the comments and I really appreciate them. So thank you. It helps me feel like doing these recaps during the tournament is the right thing. It's a lot more work than last time when I did the recaps after the tournament, but I think that you guys much prefer it. I think it's better to share the tournament that way. Before we start today's recap, I wanted to preface this with the fact that I went to the chess party last night, which I think was a bad call because I did not get to sleep until like after 2 a.m. And then that meant that I did not get very much sleep. So that was a bad judgment call for me, who has been sleep deprived this tournament, but I have not been very social this tournament. So if you're at this tournament or if you're watching this and you're another streamer at the tournament, I'm really sorry if you felt like I've been antisocial, because I think I have been, but I don't think I cope as well as the rest of the streamers because I've been playing chess for much less time than most of them. And I think the pressure of people watching the games and like all of it, I think it gets to me a little bit more. So it's definitely something I need to work on, but I think it's much easier if you've been playing chess your whole life to deal with stuff like this. So sorry if I've not been the friendliest. It's not personal to anybody. Yeah, that's why I wanted to go to the party last night to actually be a little bit more sociable, but I was a bit hungover today and I was not really feeling it. I knew I was going to be playing another tough opponent, and today I had the black pieces. My opponent today I saw was 22 years old, which means he is the perfect age to be preparing for chess games, because a lot of children don't prepare and a lot of older people don't prepare. But people who are people who are young adults love preparing, speaking from experience. And I tried to prepare for my opponent, but he did not really have any games in the line that I play. Sorry, my editor told me I need to look into the camera more. I feel like if we were having like a one-on-one conversation, I wouldn't be making eye contact with you the whole time. So I don't know, sometimes it feels a little bit too creepy to just stare into the camera. Yeah, I saw that he had only played against the sideline I play once, and it was against like a 2800. So the 2800 obviously just outplayed him in an ending. So I couldn't really prepare very well. I did see that he played the classical French, so knight c3. If you have not watched my other recaps, please leave. Go and watch them because we already covered this opening earlier in the tournament. If you didn't watch that, I'm not going to explain all of this to you again because I've already explained it. Here I play the bishop b4 line, the winnower, and I saw that in the main line of that, my opponent plays the queen g4 line. This should be very familiar because my other opponent also played the queen g4 line. But the queen g4 line is not something I see very much in the queen a5 line because it's just not as popular, I don't think. In the main line with knight e7, there is a poison pawn variation. Queen takes on g7, rook comes to g8. I mentioned this all before. And okay, here it's telling me the best stockfish move is queen g4. And I think my opponent did just prepare before the game with the engine, like we talked about this in post, and he just prepared with the engine. So I walked right into prep. And I do want to preface this game by telling you guys that my opponent regularly plays title players, draws them and beats them. Like I saw, he's really good.
She's really good.
I saw that he plays a lot of over the board compared to me. He plays so much. And so he was definitely the toughest pairing I've had so far. I've played a few 1900 plus rated players, but this one was by far the strongest. So I kind of, before the game, when I like saw who I was playing and I like saw the games and I saw the way that he plays and I saw that anytime he gets the bishop pair, he just crushes, I really was asking my coach, can I play a different opening today? And my coach was like, well, your opponent is stronger than you. You probably shouldn't because he's going to be better at chess anyway. So you shouldn't give him the extra advantage of the opening. But I think that playing the winnower gives the extra advantage of the opening anyway because it's the winnower. So I think that we are looking to change. By we, I mean Lula, I mean myself. This may be the last winner game you see from me on my recaps. So my opponent continues development with knight to f3 instead of playing some weird move because he is a strong player and he understands this opening. After here and castles, this is all normal. And this is where I get out prepped because he plays this move queen to f4. And this move queen to f4 I don't think I've ever seen before. I don't know, maybe one of you will pull up my chess.com account and say I've seen it in Blitz 3 times, but I don't think I've seen it. And if I have, I probably lost then and I lost now. So I don't know how to deal with it. But what I saw was just that normal development means he cannot take the pawn because the queen gets trapped after knight f5. So I thought, surely normal development is good. Even though my opponent cannot take the pawn, normal development gives just over a +1 advantage. So here actually I needed to play c4. I'm not sure why this is so much substantially better because now queen takes here is possible, knight here, and then queen back. And I just get a little bit of activity, I think, for the pawn. So this is a pawn sack. And I think that unless you have seen this idea or looked at it with Stockfish like my opponent had, because we talked about this in post-game analysis, this idea of this pawn sack, I don't think that you voluntarily give the pawn, especially when e6 is like a long-term target. Like, think about the endgame, think about a rook coming here and my very bad bishop being tied to defending it forever. Maybe this is why I shouldn't play the winnower. I just didn't want to give a pawn for no reason. And maybe Stockfish has like a 20-move plan to grab the c2 pawn at some point, but I didn't know that this was a necessary plan. But apparently I should have played this, otherwise I'm just worse. So this is what happens when you get out prepped. I was meant to play c4. And if I did not play c4, the second best move was h6 to stop this idea of knight to g5, which is the move my opponent played next. And I didn't realize how scary it was until I had been hit with it. So here again, the queen can take knight g7 and the same idea of the pawn sack. So I mean, you might be thinking, Lula, you should know this opening well enough to know about this random pawn sack on f7. Well, I've never seen it before, so. Normal development, and I get punished for it with knight to f5. I play the best move, which is just to protect, but now the knight can capture on f7, and I thought that this was risky, but it's completely sound. Obviously, the plan is knight d6 check, and then the queen happily escapes. So my plan was just to move the king b8 and king c7. Apparently, king b8 is quite a lot better than king c7, but I thought that king b8, rook b1, and if I play b6, it felt scarier that my king was not in touch with the pawns, if you kind of see what I mean. Also, potential pin ideas. I just thought that c7 felt safer, but what do I know? Really nothing. And now queen f6. So the plan is just winning material. I thought that rook hg8, just bishop to h6. Okay, here it's +1 with knight f5 when we give up the exchange. But do you guys remember in the last winnower game where I gave up the exchange? I didn't realize that actually it was like a forced evil. Like, Stockfish is telling me it's like a forced evil. Like, because I did not play c4, I should just now give up the exchange. And the best move is g4, and everything else is dead equal. This is only +1, and if white does not play g4, then actually it is just dead equal. And I'm guessing it's because of this horrible situation actually here now with the queen and the knight are a little bit uncomfy. I should have just allowed this, and I did see this idea, but I thought if I played another winnower game where I just gave up the exchange, you guys would be like, Lula, maybe you shouldn't be being forced to give up the exchange on move 15. Because, like, I shouldn't be forced to give up the exchange on move 15. Apparently, it's cool and fun and trendy, Stockfish says. I told my editor that I would stop getting really close to the camera during these recaps, so I'm gonna keep my personal space from you guys here. So I didn't play this because I thought that it would be bad. Like, I don't have the eval bar in front of me when I'm playing the game, so I didn't know that this was like a viable exchange sack, because my exchange sack in the last one in the last window was not viable. I just got lucky that I managed to maneuver my pieces better. So I was hoping that I wouldn't have to play for an exchange stack here. My opponent said he looked at queen c2. I also looked at queen c2, but I thought that like after something like rook here or whatever, and then like here, I don't know. I thought there was something still. I thought there was still a big problem down here, but it's kind of delayed. Like after something, I don't know, whatever. Apparently knight f5 is just good. And then, yeah, we have the slightly uncomfortable position again for white. So I really did misplay this completely because I looked quite a lot at queen takes c2 and I didn't realize that it was my like last shot other than giving up the exchange. And I also looked at bishop to e8, but I thought there was this line with knight takes here and here and here, and I thought we're going to lose a piece. And I saw this and I was like, that doesn't look good. And then I played something just worse because I think I got tunnel visioned on like bishop here, even though it's not even that scary. So I played h6, which is a blunder. I knew it was a blunder when I played it. When I played h6, I thought I was already lost. Like, I thought I had already blundered. Like, I thought that rook f8 was a blunder, or maybe I wasn't actually able to play knight e7, or I was like, I had convinced myself, I had like gaslit myself into believing the game was already lost, and that h6 was probably equally bad as like queen takes c2 or rook g8. Like I thought every move was bad. And I guess I was being a pessimist, and Mr. Dodgy says I need to be like 40% less pessimistic, but I got prepped for so hard, guys, and I got punished for it. And I had a feeling before the game that this would happen, and I was right. And my gut feeling to not play this opening today was right, and I'm just mad about it because I was right, and I also just didn't have a good alternative, which was the other problem. Like, I should have an alternative that's not some insane opening like the winnower, like something sane. So yeah, I blundered, but I thought because I had calculated knight takes h8 in other lines, like in this line with bishop e8 or whatever, I kind of convinced myself that it was like viable in a lot of lines, and now this pawn is a big problem and we have to play bishop e8 anyway. So actually just kind of transposed into the line but in a worse version. And now f7, of course, because there's no way to stop the pawn, we lose the piece. So I'm down a piece. Should I have just played rook g8 and gone down the exchange after bishop h6? Absolutely. I think I got confused. Yeah, I got muddled when I was calculating, and I started to convince myself that this knight takes h8 idea was so strong that like it was playable in a lot of lines, and it actually just was only playable in 2 of them. So I think like I was already psychologically very defeated, and I was tired, and I was a bit hungover, and I was pissed off that I was playing the second winnower against another higher rated opponent this tournament. So bad psychological vibes from Lula. But guys, this is a really long tournament. It's day 7, round 7. And if you don't play classical chess, usually day 7 is round 9, because usually there are 2 double round days in a lot of tournaments. Double round days are exhausting, yes, but this is a 9-day tournament. This is long. I don't have stamina for this. I play like 2 tournaments a year, maybe 3. Like this is a marathon. This is duration. I don't have it. I don't have stamina. So now we are dead lost. Classic Lula. This is a recurring theme of my winnower games. I was wondering if I should take on c2, or I was wondering if I should take here. I was wondering if I should play c4, which I should have played on move 12. But I thought that my only hope in this game was to try to grab some pawns. And when is a better time to grab pawns than when you're already dead lost? So I decided to grab this one instead of this one on c2, because I thought that if takes and my opponent suddenly has a really bad bleed in his brain, that maybe he would blunder and I could win back my piece. So this wins back the piece. So I thought that maybe other blunders would allow that other than bishop e1, but actually like bishop e1 is probably bishop e1 and like something else. Moving the bishop off this diagonal. I thought that I had like practical chances to try to win back material here. My opponent did not even take the pawn because he just wants to checkmate me as soon as possible. And I was looking at all sorts of really, really terrifying stuff after like king here and stuff like rook here and this. But actually, apparently here after d3, this is good. So I hadn't seen that. But this is winning anyway. if my opponent plays it correctly, which he would have done. He just trades the knights. I'm down a piece. He should trade material. But I decided to play e5, which is actually the best move. It does give away another pawn, but it's the best move. Seemed to be the lowest threat for my king. So takes, and bishop check, and my opponent has the bishop pair and extra material, so worst case scenario for Lula. I played king c6 because I thought that maybe keeping in touch with my pawns would also still be good here, even though it wasn't good at the beginning, and it is never good because my king should be hiding somewhere else, but it is what it is. After rook b1, there is a very, very clear threat of trying to win the queen with bishop to b5. I am not 500 elo, I'm bad at chess, but I'm not hanging this fork, so a6, and then my opponent plays c4. And if I play something like takes, then this looks very, very scary. I thought this looked really unpleasant. I just played queen grabbing another pawn. I considered playing for knight f5 to try to guard this, but then after just g4, the knight comes back. We lose the tempo for no reason. And like I said, what is the better time to go pawn grabbing than when you're completely dead lost? I figured maybe my opponent would forget how to attack, and I would be able to scoop up enough pawns that it didn't matter. But, of course, that is not the reality we live in. My opponent is preparing to attack my king, who is very vulnerable. I decided to bring my queen in, just as a little defender. But, like, every move here is bad. Every move here is losing and lost. And there isn't really the chance for counterplay in a position like this. Your opponent has to do something very, very bad. So, takes with check, knight takes, and now you can see that bishop to king, there is a pin here. So as soon as the d file opens up with a move like rook fd1, we're going to lose the knight due to the pin. Then yeah. So here Stockfish is telling me the best move is to play queen takes c2, but I resigned because I'm not insane. So if you play queen takes c2 in this position instead of resigning, then maybe you should reevaluate playing classical chess, because this would be a very embarrassing move to play over the board. Yes, I've played some embarrassing moves in my time, but queen takes c2 in this position is not one of them. So yeah, here, I mean, I was looking maybe at b5, but after stuff like this, and like the queen goes somewhere, or wherever she goes, like we're just losing the piece. Either this happens and then they will like win the queen, or they will take it. They will just move the bishop and then take the knight. Like there's nothing to stop losing more material. So I think it was a good time to resign. I was considering resigning from like move 15, like as soon as I was lost, but I played on a little bit because it's good to fight just to see if they misplay it. But my opponent today was very, very strong. Like, to give him his credit, I never once believed that he would blunder, and he did it. So I knew that as soon as I messed up, it was game over. I should have resigned and gone to the zoo, but it's fine because I'm going to go to the zoo tomorrow. That's why I'm filming this recap now, so that I can spend my morning doing relaxing things like going to the zoo and seeing the tigers, just like in The Queen's Gambit, where Beth goes to the zoo in Mexico City. I hope you enjoyed this recap. It's honestly not a game I was that upset about losing, because I went into it like knowing I was going to lose the game. Like, I know this is not something I should say, but my opponent today really was just in another league. Like, he was very, very strong. He's just a really strong player. And like, when I saw that he had been playing so many titled players in over the board tournaments, and the kind of tournament he's having here, which is a really good one, he's having a really good event, like I knew that it was going to be really, really tough. So it's not such a hard loss, because like, for example, in the other games where I lost to my first 1930 in this tournament, I was very upset because my opponent did not outplay me. I just hung a tactic at the end. Whereas this opponent, I honestly believe he could probably outplay me in any position. And this is not me saying that I shouldn't even have tried, but like, he is just genuinely a better player than me, and that's fine, because you'll be paired against people who are better than you. And it's part of the reality of playing these tournaments, is sometimes you'll just get a very tough pairing. But it's always better to play up than to play down. So I was still grateful to have this game, because I mean, you have much less to lose when you're playing up. I will see you tomorrow for round 8. Tomorrow is the last afternoon round, and then we finish round 9 with a morning round. Yeah, it's a very long tournament, but I hope you guys are enjoying these recaps. I have been enjoying making them. It's something that I haven't done before. When I did my recaps for Reykjavik, I did them after the event, but I think that it's not as interesting for you guys to see it after the event is over. And of course, I will not have all of the same feelings and emotions about the games like a week or 2 weeks after I've played them, I will not be able to give you as accurate of a retelling of the story within the games and the days if I wait 2 weeks to do the recaps. So I really hope you're enjoying them. It is a lot extra to do every day, but I think it's worth it, and I really, really appreciate all of the support, and thank you for following me on this journey. I really do love classical chess. It is my true love in chess. I don't like blitz, and I don't really care for online chess in the same way. So yeah, I'm really glad to be able to share this tournament with you guys. Let me know if you do see any other good tournaments popping up that could be streamer friendly. I'm always looking for new ones I haven't heard about. I will see you in the next recap. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already so that you see the next one. And yeah, have a good one. Bye guys.